Maybe like me, you thought, what must it have been like to live in Galilee or Jerusalem in the first century? What do you think about that? That would be something. It's got to be forced into that polarized camp. Either you disdained him as a blasphemer, or you had to give him your wholehearted allegiance and follow him, because he was there putting his finger in people's chests and saying, hey, who do you say that I am? Right? I mean, you were forced to make a decision. But there is an identical dilemma that you and I face. It's no different. It's the same kind of dilemma. And we face it, not with some historical reality, but with something very present. It's not then and there, it's something here and now. It has to do with the conduit through which all these claims about Christ came. It's that book that, sitting there in your lap. It's another aspect of evangelical Christianity. It's not just the person, it's the book through which the story comes. Because that book claims things that, like Jose Miranda and the historical Christ, it doesn't leave you any middle ground. I mean, you can't sit here and say, well, it's a neat book and it's okay and I'm glad it's kind of got some opinions on how to live life and neat precepts and I hope my kids read it. And you can't really do that with this book, because what it claims about itself is something extreme. I mean, it's amazing. It's outrageous. You've either got to embrace it for what it says it is, or you need to dismiss it as a delusional document that makes outrageous claims that it shouldn't dare to make. And I don't think you want your kids reading it, that's for sure. As the book of Romans brought us to ponder the problem with mankind for the first couple of chapters, in chapter 3 it now turns our attention to this authoritative, infallible book through which the claim about the problem came. It makes statements about the problem with mankind, and it turns our attention to the book, and it starts to quote it at length, more contiguous quotes here in chapter 3 than any other place in the book. It comes on the heels of seeing that Jews have no automatic pass to heaven because they're Jews. But Paul writes, hey, before we just let that one go, you need to understand there are some advantages to being a Jew. I mean, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'd rather be a Jew than a Gentile, he says, because there are some advantages. First of all, they have been entrusted with, now check these words out, the very words of God. That's the claim about the Old Testament scrolls that the Jews carried around for 1,450 years. What they're carrying around there, according to the Apostle Paul, and it is just one example of many references in the Scripture about what it claims to be. And that is not man's thoughts about God, but the very thoughts of God himself. He's preaching his message to people. He happens to use, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and Daniel, but the Bible claims that the end result are the very words of God. And I think it'd be good for us, just for 10 or 15 minutes, to ponder that outrageous claim. So if you got your worksheet there, jot this one down. Number one, you and I, we need to reconsider it. Reconsider the claims of the Bible, because it doesn't claim just to be a helpful guide for living. You understand that.